I take too much time trying to figure out how to start a video sometimes, and that's what I was just doing, and so I just decided to press record. This video is going to be all about when your relationships influence inauthenticity in you, right? And there are very specific dynamics that would be required to take place for um, a relationship to influence inauthenticity in a person. That's just the reality of it. But as I put this video together, I think about somebody that's very near and dear to me. I'm not going to name any names, but um, this person is somebody that I feel very safe with, and learning that there are more people like this out there that allow people to be themselves and don't influence them to be anybody other than who they actually can be is a fucking powerful thing. I've experienced many relationships throughout my life, especially earlier on in life, like in middle school and high school, um, that were very fucked up, very dysfunctional, very unhealthy. Um, there was just many dynamics of, Chris being somebody else for people rather than being Chris, right? And, I've experienced far too many relationship dynamics where people are like, I think you should do this, or I think you should do that. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, it doesn't come from a place of, it's not good or bad or right or wrong, but I'm going to make this very clear because this is what the foundation of a healthy individual and healthy relationships, from what I understand, look like. Right? When a person sees another person as an autonomous individual who hopefully has individuated and differentiated, right? So they are their own fucking person with their own capacities and capabilities to think, feel, and behave for themselves, right? Which, in and of itself, as a byproduct, creates trust in oneself. When a person sees another person like that, that's a healthy fucking person, and that is a foundation for a healthy relationship, right? On the other hand, when a person influences somebody inauthentically, right, like they actually have an influence on that person where that person is actually being pressured to do things that they don't actually want to do, that is unhealthy. And the majority of my life, especially earlier on, was like that, right? I wasn't being asked by other people, what does Chris want? I was being told by other people what I should do, regardless of what it was that I was communicating that I wanted or didn't wanted. And you know what? Back then, I probably didn't even communicate what it is that I wanted. I don't think I even knew what it was that I wanted because I was so fucking consumed by this crazy empathic, emotional containing shit of being so highly attuned to other people's emotions that, man, I was a fucking ghost in a shell. I really was. I feel like I'm getting kind of poetic right now, but like to really reflect and look at everything and see it for what it was, you know, no wonder I was taken advantage of. I was not who I am today, and it's just really wild to reflect on that. But, really getting back to the central message here, um, healthy people, they don't influence other people or pressure them to do things that are inauthentic for them. So let me make this clear. Two healthy things that happen in childhood, hopefully, doesn't always happen, are individuation, right? Where you start to divide yourself from the FOO, the family of origin, right? Getting back into the Foo Fighters here. Fighting the Foo. You start to divide yourself from the family. Individuation is all about thinking, feeling, and behaving as you wish to as an individual, separate from, the the family of origin, the foo that you come from, that you now have to fight. Just kidding, no you don't. Don't fight them, don't try to change them. They're probably not going to anyway. But yeah, so individuation, right? And then differentiation, which has to do a lot with, individuation has to do with boundaries, of course, but differentiation also has to do with boundaries because it's the differentiation between self and other, right? And people that don't see that, right, they might even see you as like an extension of themselves to take care of their every fucking need, and they don't really actually care about you as a person. Yeah, that's not healthy. And these are usually the types of people that are likely to influence inauthenticity in you. Why? Because they don't see you as your own, standing individual who is autonomous. I was trying to say that in a different way, but it just wasn't coming out right. They don't see you as an autonomous individual. They see you as probably, an extension of themselves, and they only think about you when they need something from you, right? And so therefore they're likely to influence you inauthentically because they don't really care about you. They just want you to do things for them. That's it, right? And so a majority of my relationships earlier on in life were very much that, right? And I get it, you might argue it's like, well, Chris, you're basically a kid at that point. You're too young. Yeah, you are. But individuation and differentiation, if it occurs in a healthy way, it actually happens very early on in childhood. I don't remember the exact ages, but some people actually never get it, and that's just the way that it is, right? But if you feel like you've been influenced let me try that again. If you feel like you've been influenced inauthentically by people in your life, it's probably because they don't really see you as an autonomous individual who can think, feel, and behave for himself. They probably see you as like somebody that can just take care of their needs, And that's why they're not going to ask you what it is that you want, right? Because if they do ask you what it is that you want and you become conscious enough of that, you're probably not going to keep them in your life because they're not there to care about you and take care of you and have a healthy relationship with you. They're there to use you for what they can, and that's it. So no fucking wonder they wouldn't want you to know what it is that you want, because once you realize what it is that you want and you realize that it doesn't include them and all of their fucked up dynamics, you're gonna get out of there. They don't want that. So they're trying to influence you inauthentically as to turn you into just a fucking extension of themselves to take care of their fucking needs, right? And some people are more prone to that. I was definitely there years ago, years and years. But it's a fucked up dynamic. Healthy relationships allow for individuals to be individuals. You are seen as an individual. You are treated as an individual. Your autonomy is respected. You're not influenced in unhealthy ways, and that's just the way that it is, right? So if you find yourself being influenced in ways that are inauthentic to you, consider what I'm saying here. I'm not at all telling anybody what to do. I'm not about that. I've just really been doing a lot of reflecting myself, and I've been realizing how much throughout my entire life I've been so influenced inauthentically by people. It literally got to the point where like people were like super unhealthy about it, and they were like, I think you should do this. Yeah, I think you should do this because it benefits me. I'm not going to tell you, but it benefits me. It's not going to be authentic for you, but I don't give a fuck about you. Right? And it's just like that, like a majority of the stuff that you need to hear, you're not hearing because they don't want you to hear it, because then they can't take advantage of you and control you, right? They can't influence you to be inauthentic to yourself, because nobody wants to willingly sit in a fucking jail cell their entire life, At least I don't.